And that is our 5th token and 5th power level. So do you remember what that means, Gary?
No.
It's a new cutscene time.
Yay. You can't catch me.
And the cutscene this time is... Now there are barrels over here.
Oh.
So, let's go...
That's hardly a cutscene.
Yeah, it was very much a toxic factory. The staple of any Halloween game. I guess this is more appealing to the Jersey side of the game. For an eon, a literal eon, I did not know what the K and D on the K and D factory stood for, because I thought it was J and D, but they got the letters wrong, because Jersey Devil, you know? But it's Knarf and Dennis factory. And this level is full of this electric fence, which will be open later, and a Power 7 door, which will be open very soon. And this area is full of many objects, like this. It's a bat in an oven. New from, what's that one? DiGiorno. And, stacks of tires. Eggplant killed me. Stacks of tires. You break them open, and one will bounce somewhere that you can bounce on. There it is, right there. And there's pizza in the oven. Somebody was cooking a box of pizza in this oven when they abandoned it.
Tasty.
For once.
Literally.
For once, it's actually been literal with this tasty. Okay. And pretty much every box in this area is full of a mutated vegetable because, you know, we're in the sludge. Sludge causing mutations. Makes sense?
Yeah, totally.
How? What makes more sense is all the effort I can't go into punching this guy. There we go. I just punched the guy who was standing behind me while punching forward. Poorly animated tire. And we're almost out of here. Okay, there, F. Oh no. And we have a different death animation for green water. This time the box is turned into a TNT, and also there is a toxic barrel. Can you believe it?
You better believe it.
Or what?
Well, Mrs. Butterworth's gonna come after you.
Oh. Wait. Is that even that slogan?
No.
And here we go, Toxic Factory. Boom. And a spider with a beanie. 2 spiders with 2 beanies. Ugh. We can't open this door until the spiders are killed. That is a very provincial door. Come on. Ow. Sometimes spiders punch you right in the face. What are you gonna do?
Take it like a man.
Oh, I thought you were gonna be cheap and just try and Jersey tail whip them. There we go. Oh no, a new area all of a sudden. And another cutscene from Narf just laughing at me.
Cut.
Scene. Okay, this area is not the greatest area. I'm not going to convince you of anything otherwise, but these barrels are on fire in the water. This area is pretty much the worst area because it is where I was stuck as a child. That's right, children. Back way before the days of Google and YouTubes, not everybody had internets in their homes. Very few people had internets that were of my middle-class stature, and even fewer people had high-speed internets, because I don't think that was invented yet. But because this game wasn't so popular, nobody had a strategy guide available from Brady Games or the other one.
Prima.
Yeah. Oh, also, this is not Crash Bandicoot, even though there are floating metal spiky eye things that can't be killed. Anyway, green. Because this fancy fangled the internet had not been created yet, nobody had access to the wealth of knowledge that is GameFAQs.com, including me. And I'll point out exactly where this game became so puzzling that even I could not best it, as soon as I can make this frickin' jump.
I cannot wait.
Remember how I said that you die a lot in this game? It's not because the game overall is so difficult, it's you'll reach a very cheap point and you'll die 5 times in 5 seconds. That's my new Food Network show. And screw all that. Over here, we try to float in the middle of this. We can't break the cardboard box while floating. Make sure we go out here onto the metal steel girder beams. We should have just floated to this platform from the very beginning, but I am not as familiar with this area as I am with the rests. And now there are robotic bees. Take that checkpoint. Robotic bees just as vulnerable as the other ones. And
Poor bees.
And on the other side they have sentries. More metal sentries, only this time they aren't invulnerable, and they home in on me very slowly. And explode. Bounce. That bouncing sound effect is the same sound effect that Billy uses when he bounces on his head. This wall of barrels looks very blow-upable, but it is not. Punch the guy in the face. There we go. And all he had to give us was a 1-up anyway, so... See all these TNT boxes? You'd think that you'd be able to break through somewhere in all of this mess. But you can just punch these giant barrels down. I don't know if they didn't get the message from the different departments developing the game about that, but they gave us plenty of TNT boxes that we would have had to use one eventually on the barrels. So it wasn't a problem with that. And over there is the puzzle. Believe it or not, that is a puzzle. It looks like a mini-boss, but it's a puzzle. I'm gonna say the word puzzle just 3 more times. Oh, the A was in the fridge. Keeping it cold for me. Auto camera. The one time they put an auto camera in the level. Bouncing across the tires, and a lot of TNT boxes floating in the water for some to no reason. Mainly because they can't make them necessary, because they don't respawn, and if you blow them up you'd be screwed. / they wanted to have you not be able to make maximum jumps every time from the tires over there. Dang it! They knew what I was going to say as soon as I landed on the other side of that water, so they had to kill me. But I'll say it anyway, because I know they can't stop me for long. Making sure he didn't drop a token, because that would be the worst times ever at Ridgemont High. See, you can just clear everything with the bounces from the tires. There we go. Remember how this wasn't Crash Bandicoot? They operate just like the mini-boss, only different. Now, Gary, can you tell me what we're supposed to do here? Based on this information alone.
No, I can't.
Well, my 6-year-old mind describes to me that there's a bunch of plants around, so let's kill all the plants, we've got Knarf, and then we can't fight this guy, see him? He's very blockaded, but he's on the K-door, so I can't kill him. And here's the story. My father worked at a store that had internet access on one computer at the time. And one day he brought to me home in a green manila envelope, which I think defeats the purpose of manila envelopes, the entire GameFAQs FAQ of Jersey Devil printed out. It is the same one available online to this day, and the only one available online to this day. And I still have that printed out in like 60 to 70 pieces of paper. What they don't tell you is you can pick up the heads, like TNT boxes, and throw them at this guy.
How creative.
How creative and unexplained. And he throws more seeds at you. And you gotta hit him a lot of times. So it's just more of the sound effects that we love so much. I even like that guy's laugh at me. See, that's some good programming right there. They know when you get hurt. That's like the first instance of actual AI, artificial intelligence over there. Ow! I say AI, artificial intelligence, because there's nothing else AI could stand for. Right, Gary?
Of course.
Yes, you can take very many courses at AI.
Ha.
That's my plug of the day. And he just explodes into all of his particles and we can move along. Ah! Let's resume. And what mysteries await us outside the factory? We won't know yet because we're still inside. These turtles are a bunch of jerks because they're really confusing to figure out. They move back and forth like this, but patterns don't really actually sync up. And there you go. If you step on a turtle without gliding, like this, the turtle, brown water, different barrel setup. If you land on a turtle without gliding, then it will retreat into its shell, unless it's turning a corner, at which point you can't make it retreat into its shell. So the trick is, right before it gets to the end of its path and turns around, you put it in its shell and wait for the next turtle to come to you. If you glide on a turtle, it will not go into its shell no matter where it is. Again, because you don't jump on them unless they're at the end of their paths, and they don't retreat at the end of their paths, you don't really discover that mechanic on purpose. And it can be very annoying because you wait for this part here, and the turtle and the platform will never sync up unless you do this. And you can jump on them again to start them again. Thankfully that went through by without too much trouble, and we can ride it all the way up to the outside of the factory. Outside of the factory is pretty bare and also has no music, because I can hear a barrel guy. Not this barrel guy, this is just a barrel. Oh, he almost is from the rooftops. Oh no, carrots. It's this barrel guy, and you remember from very far back in the game, they decided a mechanic wasn't so bad that it can only be used once. It's not the punching barrel guy. It's the dead body we can bounce on. We'll be using that in just a hot second. First I've got collectibles and a broken car. My Cadillac. You might think that because of these barrels here, you're supposed to jump up there, but no, those barrels are just there so you don't go pushing the body everywhere. But then on the other side, if you push the body too far, there's an invisible wall. Production values, they are not. And value their production, I do not. This guy serves just to screw us over by hitting us with a barrel and knocking us off the roof onto barrels. And with enough hit boxing, we can... Man, he is like the bullet sponge of punches and tails. There we go. And this TNT box may not look actually effective, but it's up here for a reason, because if we walked off this thing without it, we would never be able to get inside the authorized Perone only door. I don't understand which language Perion Pier 1 is supposed to be, but it's not English, and it's not French, and I'm pretty sure it's not any language that this company would have been. The company that made the game, of course, Behavior Interactive, was not around for very long because they almost immediately changed their name. I guess behaviors weren't very popular at the time, so nobody wanted to behave, really, so they changed their name to Industrial Artificial Intelligence Magicians, or something along those lines. And that company, despite having this very nice independent project with original characters and music and graphics and everything, that company went on to, hang on, try and get that, oh, can't reach that. went on to make all of the very bad licensed games that we all know and love to pass over at the GameStop shelf. There's a huge list of them available everywhere, but main ones include the Kim Possible GBA series, Drake and Josh for multi-platforms, Wall-E, just pretty much if it's a bad movie tie-in or Disney show tie-in. Jersey Devil, Hostage. Jersey Devil their company had a part in it. One actually independent, non-licensed game they did come up with was the video game Wet, which was recently released. And you can see many of the core gameplay elements expressed in Wet are in full feature here in Jersey Devil. I mean, it's very heart and soul to the company, which I'm pretty sure they throw out every developer every year just to cleanse out the company, because there's no tying. It's not really a company, it's just whoever made the game. But don't get me wrong, I totally love this game, and I thank them for making it. Oh no. It is the stealth section. That camera is actually invincible. We cannot kill it, so if we alerted it, it would just shoot lasers at us until we died. Or we outran it because it can't really follow us, because the AI is terrible. Speaking of terrible AI, these are the robots. I've been beating up the whole level. They take 3 hits. And these potted plants, you remember from the intro anime video, and they were the boss fights on the root canal, the mini-boss fight. And they decided, since it was such a great sound effect, they're going to bring it back for multiple more levels. This one, and the next one, and maybe even the final level. Just like the boss fight, you wait for the good sound effects to pass, and then you hit them. And normally they drop something good, because otherwise there's no reason to fight them. Oh no! On the other side of that clip-through wall, the camera has almost detected us. Those detectifying cameras will come into play more prevalently much later on. Let's see if we can hit this guy with any of these huge boxes we've got up here. No, the aim is terrible. But he's trying to get us, you gotta give him credit for that. Oh, and also, Jersey Devil can jump on these ones. I'm not sure why they decided to implement that for just this enemy, but you can jump on the robots and do damage to them. I'm not even gonna bother fighting this guy. I just wanted to hear his sound effects. But it trips me up because the mini-boss did 3 sets of chomps, this one only does 2. Over there, we've got 3 1-ups that we could have gotten by jumping down there. But then we would have to go through this entire little area again. These platforms sink when you jump on them, so just keep hopping and you'll make it across splendidly. Down here, not only do we have a little bit of falling death and the means to refill that, we've got some useless crates and conveyor belts and a huge platforming section of pipes and platforms. I guess they heard you're supposed to make a platform game. They threw in platforms. Conveyor belts are a popular thing of the time. And pipes were Crash Bandicoot related. This plays a lot of weight in the heavy machinery level of the original Crash Bandicoot. We can't really duck under anything that's bigger than our torso, so even if it looks like we should duck under it, you have to jump on top of it. If we could just, no, can't make that jump. Just gotta wait for this platform and time it correctly. No. Jersey Devil, your automatic jumping when they walk off a ledge? No. Oh, that robot can't get us. Poor robot. Oh, because, yeah, we're supposed to go up here now. I think, yeah. Conveyor belts time. Whoa. You can actually get some pretty good speed walking in conjunction with a conveyor belt. Not that you'd ever need it. Unless you're trying to do some type of sequence break, of which there is minor ones in this game. Like, you can jump platforms a little bit sooner, but why would you want to? It's not very necessary. You probably die 50 times, rather than the original 35 going it the normal way. Anyway, conveyor belt section is not anywhere close to being over, just this one is. Are we at 50%? 45. Close enough to be halfway to 90%, which is an A-.